Well, Canada will follow the American lead at next week's Copenhagen Climate Summit. Ottawa will match its cuts to greenhouse gas emissions with those made in Washington. Is it necessary, though, or has the global warming movement blinded us with science? That's a question now being asked by skeptics around the world. But a Victoria-based environmental science advisor says you cannot change the measurements just because you may disagree on what's being done with the numbers.
As a science advisor to the Sierra Club of B.C, Campbell understands the power of doubt. He says the release of thousands of emails from the University of East Anglia's Climate Research Unit in Britain was probably intended to do just that, create doubt.
There's plenty of people who don't really have the capacity to dig into the science. And because it's already contentious, people choose a side, I think, sometimes. And nobody loves anything more than a contentious, life-threatening fact.
The emails appeared to show some of the world's leading scientists discussing ways to shield data from public scrutiny and suppress others' work. Those who deny the influence of man-made climate change have seized on the correspondence to argue that scientists have been conspiring to hide evidence about global warming. While it's still not clear whether the emails were stolen, hacked, or leaked, Campbell says you can't change the measurements just because people squabble about how the numbers have been treated.
There are so many pieces of data that tell us the Earth is warming that it would be impossible to fake anything there. Millions of data points a year are averaged out to tell us what's going on.
People said, oh, is this the smoking gun? No, it's not a smoking gun. It's an atomic bomb.
Victoria climatologist Dr. Timothy Ball says he has a different take on the release of the climate research emails. Dr. Ball, who calls himself an environmentalist, believes the entire world's policies on energy and economies, which he says are based on CO2 gases, has been shown to be based on false scientific information.
People at the CRU, the Climatic Research Unit, which is at East Anglia, which is where the files were obtained, are the same people that control the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
The United Nations says it will conduct its own investigation into the leaked emails. Meantime, a UVic scientist says he too has faced a campaign of harassment by global warming skeptics. Dr. Andrew Weaver has said in a published report there have been 2 break-ins at his office at the University of Victoria and several attempts to hack into the computer system over the last year. Dr. Weaver, who was not available to comment, is a member of the Nobel-winning International Panel on Climate Change and Canada Research Chair on Climate Modeling and Analysis.
We don't care what the outcome is of the debate. We just want a debate.
I really doubt that this flurry of activity is going to influence the overall direction either of policy making or people's responses, and it certainly doesn't reflect what's happening with the planet.
Dr. Campbell says it's hard to be optimistic about the challenges facing our environment, but he believes we still have a chance. In Victoria, Eric Thompson, A News.